Welcome, everyone, to the Daily Juice Podcast on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean, stacking the money green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, Daily Juice being brought to you by BetMGM. Use the promo code JUICE. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Okay, not the way I was hoping to end the year, but hey, it's a new year. Happy New Year, everyone. And again, thank you as always for tuning in. Thank you for spreading the word. Gotten really great feedback. Always DMs are always open, always on the Discord. Feel free to hit me up. Love hearing questions, answering questions, talking to you guys about, well, who do you like? Again, I grind this out every day. I follow the trends. I do the research. I got my gut instincts guiding me along. But hey, I'm always open to learning new stuff. There's a lot of sharp people in the Discord, and it's just a fun hang. So appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Almost 200 shows in. Started on July 1st. Time has just flown by. And yeah, as far as unit-wise, I think when I took the show over, as far as 2022, the show was down -8 units. Took it on a plus 30 unit run since then. Unfortunately, lost 6 units yesterday, 0-3. But again, hit a couple big bets that carried the year. I'm a gambler. Again, at the end of the day, I'm a let it ride guy. I'm a DGen only guy, and I'm here to have fun. I'm here to pick some winners, and let's get it going with a great 2023. Here we go. Okay, first up, K-State. They were up 10-0. What happened, Kansas State? I thought Alabama would be a little sleepy, and they were. Just not for the entire game. They really flipped it on, and again, they're Alabama. I guess not shocked. I was a little surprised that Kansas State couldn't do anything off that. Michigan State, oh man, what a wild, entertaining game. I mean, if you're a TCU fan, you must have just been white knuckling that game the entire time. Again, -7.5. Never felt like it had a chance, but the way the scoring was going nuts, like in the third quarter, I was talking myself into, hey, maybe they can get 7.5, or if there's any game to go into overtime and then cover the 7.5, miraculously, it felt like maybe that Michigan game was. I really hated that game. I'm glad TCU won outright, because I don't, as a Penn State guy, is just Harbaugh, I don't like rooting for Michigan, but I really thought they had a great team. I thought it was the play. I like Max Duggan as a player. Thought the dude was a dog. I just thought they were going to be outmatched, and they weren't. Also, there were a couple. I'm not going to be the ref guy, but how do you overturn that early touchdown, and then of course Michigan fumbling right after that? I mean, Michigan deserves a lot of the blame there. I mean, getting cute with the Philly special, not QB sneaking it. A horrible play calling by Harbaugh, honestly. Rough run there. And then I'm taping this right before the Ohio State first half ends, because I don't want to even know if the longer leg of the parlay hits. Right now they're up 28-24. But I don't even want to know if that hits, because I'm going to be so annoyed that the parlay didn't hit. Of course, the thing with the bigger odds hits and not the Michigan -7.5. All right, let's get to it. Before we do, picks are free. So are the jerseys. YouTube.com/bettingpros. Hit subscribe. Comment on this video with what are you looking forward to most betting on this year? That's a fun thing to comment. For me, NFL playoffs. I mean, the NFL is obviously awesome, and the fact that they figured out how to get 6 playoff games that first weekend, super wild card weekend, I'm all in. I'm a sucker for that, so I'm stoked for NFL playoffs. But what are you guys looking forward to? I mean, conference tournament, March Madness right around the corner, NBA regular season heating up. I'm going to try to get back into some MMA stuff, maybe dabble with a little NHL. It's tough because with football going so hard right now, my brain can only take so much. So I'll be getting into some of those other sports as the season progresses. But as we know, it is Sunday. We're talking about the National Football League. Okay, I'm going to get the ugly bet out of the way. Give me the Denver Broncos plus 12.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs, 2 units over on PointsBet. Again, as I pointed out, this is the trend of close your eyes special. Again, you underperform the spread by 21 points and you're catching points the following week. We're talking like 62% historically, at least since I started tracking it, doing my other podcast, Sports Gambling Podcast, back in like 2011. It's been over 60% historically since then. I think it's even slightly better for division games as well. The trend is 5-3 so far. I was honest, and you get the new coach bump, which I think is going to be pretty decent. I was surprised to hear some of the players rallying around Russell Wilson. And honestly, Russell Wilson, the best game of his season, I think was probably against this Chiefs defense. Before he got knocked out, they were looking, that was kind of the best version of the Broncos offense. I think they kind of get up for this game, and the Chiefs have just been in cruise control seemingly for most of this regular season, and you understand why. They're a veteran team. You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Kelsey, you can kind of turn it on and off, which is fine, but it's not great for covering double-digit spreads. I think we're going to get a great effort from a Broncos team who got embarrassed on national TV on Christmas. So I think we get a good effort out of the Broncos. So give me the Broncos plus 12.5. Way too much for a division game. Speaking of division games, give me the Vikings plus 3.5 at the Packers, 2 units over on BetMGM. Call me crazy, but it's weird. Everyone keeps wanting to hate on the Vikings and bet against them, and I understand why. I mean, they're like the worst point differential ever for a 12-win team and all this other stuff. But at plus 3.5, that kind of stuff, the DVOA, the point differential, all that stuff, that's factored in. And I quietly think the Packers are the more fraudulent team in this matchup. Laying 3.5, like what have the Packers done to warrant that? They beat the Bears, the Rams, and a concussed Tua. Like, if Tua doesn't get concussed and the Dolphins end up winning that game, which, is not a crazy scenario, what do you think the spread is on this game? Also, it looks like Christian Watson, he might not play. If he does play, he's not going to be 100%. The Packers kick returner also is out. And I was listening to my boy Warren Sharp pointing out, like, the field advantage that he gives them is huge. Not having him is a big deal. And this Vikings team, all they do is play field goal games, right? Like, it just seems like every game comes down to a field goal. So I like Giants plus 4 last week. Justin Jefferson had an insane game against the Packers week 1, and then Jair Alexander's like talking all this smack against him. I think the Vikings are going to be motivated to play for the 2 seed and also to eliminate Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Lambeau. This feels like a game. I got to take the 3.5 here. Next up, give me the New York Jets at the Seahawks. I'm taking the Jets laying 1.5, 2 units, BetMGM. You just can't underestimate the Mike White effect that he has for this team. Robert Saleh also actually has a ton of experience from his days in San Francisco, playing against Pete Carroll, playing against that Seattle offense in Seattle. Tyler Lockett, again, dealing with the hand thing. You can't really get a straight answer on whether he's playing or not. So if he does play, I don't think he's going to have as big of an impact as he normally does. And this Seahawks defense is very good. Don't get it twisted. I mean, they've played really good ball. They create turnovers. And I love this Seattle defense against a Geno Smith quarterback who seemingly has lost his confidence, right? Let's be real. He doesn't look like that guy that was comeback player of the year, that was, kind of remember, I'm old enough to remember when people were talking about Geno Smith for MVP. So I think the Jets offense also getting Mike White back, Zach Wilson is not there, which is huge. Garrett Wilson, I think, has a good game. Zonovan Knight should be able to rush against the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is just wide open, so tons of opportunities for the Jets. Next up, last side, and then we got a DGen play. Steelers plus 2.5 at the Ravens, 2 units over on FanDuel. AFC North game, you just always have to take the dog, especially the small dogs. We got a little model going over here. AFC North dogs of 3 or less, 43, 23, and 5. I'm not taking the money line. I'm taking the points because this game has 17-16 written all over it. And the Steelers are a different team with and without TJ Watt, 6-2. Kenny Pickett got knocked out of the game last time they played the Ravens, so a nice revenge spot here for the Steelers. Steelers are fighting for their playoff lives. Small, I think they're at like 11% chance. So they need to win out and they need some help. But the Ravens offense with Huntley has kind of been rough. And again, like I said, the revenge spot. So a lot I like about the Steelers team. So give me the Steelers plus 2.5. Last but not least, wouldn't be a 2022 without a little DGen play here. Again, round robin alert. This time we're going to do it anytime touchdowns. So again, I like to take one unit, split it up 4 ways. So essentially you're placing 3 2-team parlays and then 1 3-team parlay of these bets. So we'll get all the pricing sorted out if we end up hitting, but that's a good way to split it up and not to go crazy, but still have a pretty fun sweat. First up on the anytime touchdown round robin parlay, give me Jelani Woods plus 500. He seemed like one of Nick Foles' main targets for the Colts. The New York Giants are really bad against the tight end. Again, at 5-1, I like that matchup. You saw TJ Hawkinson have a career game against this Giants defense. Next up, this is the longest anytime touchdown in the round robin. Velus Jones Jr. plus 650. Now, it looks like the Bears might be getting Chase Claypool back. Equanimeous St. Brown, he's off the injury report, but still hasn't cleared the concussion protocol. Kind of weird stuff going around. It seems like it's just Cole Kmet, and then Velus Jones Jr. got a ton of snap share last week, got 4 targets, had a couple big plays. He's also involved in the return game. You're playing in a dome. It's a fast track. I think that benefits a guy like Velus Jones Jr. And again, the rest of the Bears receivers are banged up or at least questionable. They're not going to be 100%. I think this could be a shootout, highest total on the board. So a lot of reasons why Velus Jones Jr. has a decent chance to get a touchdown. And then last but not least, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, because Mike White gets Elijah Moore involved in the offense. If you remember the game against the Bills, last game Mike White played, he had 10 targets. I think Seattle's going to do whatever they can to slow down Garrett Wilson, so I think Elijah Moore could benefit from that. So Elijah Moore at plus 310, Velus Jones Jr. plus 650, Jelani Woods plus 500. Round robin those guys on an anytime touchdown parlay. Those prices over on FanDuel, but again, especially with those, shop around because there are pretty big price discrepancies. So besides that, I also like Steelers plus 2.5, Jets minus 1.5, Vikings plus 3.5, Broncos plus 2.5. All those sides, 2-unit plays, 1 unit on the round robin. Again, BetMGM, promo code JUICE, $1,000 risk-free bet. Follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast. Happy New Year. You know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.